If you are listening to this right now, understand this clearly. The biggest thing holding you back is not lack of talent, not lack of resources, not lack of opportunity, but the quiet agreement you have made with doubt. Because the moment you start believing the negative voices around you more than your own vision, you hand over control of your life to people who are not living the life you want. And that is a dangerous trade. Because people who never chased greatness will always have opinions about why you shouldn't either. And the truth is, you cannot move forward while carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations, judgments, and limitations on your back, especially when those people don't even understand the fire that exists inside you. Because even those who criticize you are watching you closely. They are drawn to your potential even if they refuse to acknowledge it. Not because they believe in you, but because they are afraid of what happens if you actually become who you are capable of becoming. And instead of encouraging your growth, they try to pull you down to a level that feels comfortable to them. But comfort has never created greatness, and it never will. And I need you to understand something very important right now. Believing in yourself is not optional, it is foundational. Because the moment you stop believing, you either stop trying or you try half-heartedly. And half-hearted effort always produces full confirmation of failure. Not because you were incapable, but because you decided the outcome before the work even began. And too many people live their lives obsessed with probability instead of possibility, asking what are the chances instead of asking what would my life look like if I actually succeeded. And that mindset alone separates those who stay stuck from those who break through. Because success doesn't come from approval, it comes from commitment. And if no one is cheering for you right now, that doesn't mean you are losing, it means you are early. And when you are early, the responsibility is simple. Become your own biggest supporter. Acknowledge your own effort. Respect your own discipline. Because consistency during lonely seasons is what turns ignored people into undeniable forces. And the reason many of you are still stuck is not because you lack potential, but because you are addicted to blaming the past, blaming your parents, blaming your teachers, blaming circumstances that are no longer in your control. And while your pain was real, living inside it forever is a choice, not a requirement. Because every day you wake up and justify excuses, you give away power you already have. And power once surrendered does not return unless you deliberately take it back. Because you control how you feel, how you act, how you respond. And the idea that outside forces dictate your future is one of the most deeply ingrained lies ever taught. And once you break free from it, everything changes. Because life rewards effort, not excuses, momentum, not intentions, action, not talk. And momentum is created when you show up even when you don't feel inspired. Because laziness doesn't just waste time, it steals enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is one of the most valuable resources you have. Yet so many people define themselves by failure instead of lessons, forgetting that failure is not identity, it is feedback. And those who grow are not those who never fail, but those who learn quickly and move forward without dragging the emotional weight of the past into the future. Because life is not a rehearsal, it is a single performance. And every small daily habit compounds into months and years. And spending even 15 minutes a day in negativity, avoidance, or pointless conflict can silently consume a massive portion of your productive life without you ever realizing it. Which is why your focus should not be on rare big events, but on fixing daily patterns, because that is where real transformation happens. And the purpose is not to talk about change, but to become the person who acts, observes, learns, applies, and evolves. Because when you surround yourself with disciplined people, you develop a force field that weak opinions cannot penetrate. And once you realize that the only real opponent is yourself, everything becomes clearer. Because what others do has nothing to do with your destiny. And hard work does not make the journey easier. It makes you stronger. Because the mountain does not shrink, you grow. And indecision is still a decision, just one that quietly chooses regret. And time does not pause for confusion, doubt, or fear, because there are no timeouts in life, only outcomes. And if plan A fails, there are still 25 other letters available, because quitting is the only action that permanently kills a dream. And when darkness comes, and it will, you must trust yourself the way a bird trusts its wings, not the branch. Because branches break, circumstances fail, people leave, but self-belief allows you to fly again. And fear is not a signal to stop, it is a signal that growth is near. Because nothing that transforms you comes from comfort, and believing in what could go right is far more powerful than obsessing over what could go wrong. Because success is not about being extraordinary once, it is about being consistent daily. And no one chooses how they start, but everyone chooses how they respond. And the only way out of struggle is through it, not around it, not away from it. And when you face the storm head on, you don't just survive it, you become someone stronger on the other side. Life will test you repeatedly, and there will be moments when you question your capacity, when you feel exhausted, when fear whispers that it would be easier to quit. But running has never solved a single meaningful problem, because growth demands confrontation, and the fears that scare you the most often hold the greatest potential for personal evolution. And every time you step forward instead of retreating, you rewrite the limits you once accepted. Because dreams do not manifest through wishing, they require work, discomfort, and courage. And nothing valuable begins inside a comfort zone. And what is truly frightening is not failure, but waking up years later trapped in dissatisfaction, knowing you chose safety over purpose. Because at any moment you can change direction, but only if you are willing to act differently than before, take risks, and abandon the illusion that the easy path leads anywhere meaningful. Because greatness is not inherited, it is constructed through discipline, effort, and resilience. And the real secret to success is brutally simple. Show up, work hard, don't quit, and learn continuously. Because at the end of the day, approval from others is irrelevant if you cannot respect the reflection staring back at you. And self-respect is built through aligned actions, not applause. Because belief in yourself must come before belief from anyone else. And once you accept that there is no replacement for you, no alternate version, no backup option, everything becomes urgent and intentional. Because purpose does not require permission, and your story is not meant to imprison you, it is meant to fuel you. Because the human spirit doesn't care about your past,